Stop talking about comic books or I'll kill you. I don't care if the Hulk could defeat the Man of Steel.
Hey there, comic fans. How y'all doing? Bullseye Bob here. Welcome to Everything Comics and another episode of Having Comics with My Coffee. Of course, this is episode number 20, and nothing can keep me down, folks. I know this last week we've been on lockdown for the coronavirus, and I did have to work from home for this last week. But since my YouTube channel is sort of a business, and I'm here for business purposes, I get to come and film in the refuge. Today. So really happy about that. Happy to be here with you guys. A lot of great books came out this week, and I'm looking forward to reviewing them. But first of all, I just want to let you know that this show, if you've never tuned into it before, this is where we get together in a local coffee shop here in Portland, have some great coffee, and I talk about the comics I picked up this week. And of course, I'm talking about the new comics that came out this last Wednesday on March 18th. And of course, you can see that I'm live and in living color from the Refuge Coffee House right here in Portland, 9217 Southeast Foster Road. If you've never been here, come check it out. If you're ever here in Portland, let me know you're going to be here. Coffee will be on me. We'll get together. We'll talk about whatever, especially talk about comic books. But it's a great place to hang out. The owner and proprietors let me film here, and I'm really grateful for that. And maybe sometime I'll have them on the show so you get to meet them, since I've filmed here almost 20 episodes now. Just want to let you know that I really feel for everybody. I know that the COVID-19 is really hitting our country, and I just hope that this provides you all with a little break, a little entertainment, something to get your mind off of things. I know that it's been a trying time for a lot of us, myself included. Had to work from home this whole last week, and I'm kind of getting a little cabin fever, so it's kind of really nice to be able to come here and be able to film the show. And so just let you know, this morning the coffee that I'm drinking, I'm having an amazing cold brew. The owner proprietor Keith makes an awesome cold brew, and I have some vanilla sweetener inside of it, and it's dang tasty. So before we get into the announcements, I'll just let you know that there'll be a timestamp that'll show up on the screen, or you can go down in the comments and see it there. If you want to skip past all the announcements and go straight to the actual reviews, you can go ahead and do that. I know some people would just rather get into the show, and I fully understand that. But I got a few announcements this week, and one of the things I wanted to talk about is my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. So I guess there's been a little confusion. Just want to clear things up. I've announced ever since I started the announcement, I've been telling you to go ahead and leave a comment down in the comment section of the video and let me know what you think about the show. And I just want to let you know that wasn't for just the first video, and it was for any of the videos going forward until I hit 1,000 subscribers. I am tallying the names of people who leave a comment specifically about the video, what they think about it. And when I get to my 1,000 subscriber mark, I'll tally them all up. I'll put them in a randomizer, and I'll pick a winner. And so I just want to clear that up. It's not that you don't have to leave a comment every show until we get there. If you've left a comment about the show, that's all you have to do, and be subscribed to the channel, and you're entered to win. So there was some confusion about that, and I just wanted to make sure that was cleared up. And so what am I giving away? As you know, Bueller and Sam and I went to I Like Comics in Vancouver in January, and all of the executives from Image were there, and they signed an exclusive poster that was made just for that signing. It has 6 different pictures on it, and every single one of the executives signed it. Todd McFarlane, Robert Kirkman, Mark Silvestri, Jim Valentino. It was awesome. They all signed it. I'll put a graphic up on the screen so you can see what it looks like. That's the grand prize. And then I also have some CDs from 𝐒𝐤𝐞𝐞𝐜𝐢𝐚𝐥, who does the theme song of the show that you hear every week. And I may have a couple other things. But one of the things I wanted to announce today, here's my second announcement. I guess it's a really cool thing that's happening. Somebody from another channel called YC Comics, his name is Nick, brand new channel. He reached out to me and he wanted to partner with me on my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. He is donating a 9.8 slabbed Spawn #9, first appearance of Angela. Great book. He's donated it to the show to give away once I reach 1,000 subscribers. All you have to do to win this is go to his channel. There's a video there. I'll leave a link down in the description. Click on that link and he'll tell you everything that you need to do to enter to win that slabbed comic. It's beautiful. He's already sent it to me. I got the tracking number. I'm going to see it on Monday, and on my next show I'll show you the actual slab. And but if you are interested in that, you want to win that, definitely go to his channel, check him out. He's a great guy. We'll be doing a live stream together here pretty soon. That way the community can get to know him, and I'm really looking forward to partnering with him. So definitely check that out. And then the next is, by the time this drops, I'm thinking the roundtable discussion will have already happened, but by chance, if it hasn't happened yet, Saturday, March 21st at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when Sleepy Reader, Damien, Sleepy Reader 666, Bueller from Comics with Bueller, Sam from Sam's Tangled Web, and myself, Bullseye Bob, will be getting together for a roundtable. Now, it won't be like it normally is, where we get together over at, the last couple times has been at Bueller's, which has been amazing. But because of the virus and social distancing and all that type of stuff, we're all gonna just chime in remotely, and we're gonna have our discussion tonight. It's gonna be awesome. This time we're gonna go over our top five heroes and the era that they came from. Like, what is our favorite era they came from? What is it about those heroes that we like? I'm really looking forward to this. You know me, I love hanging out with those guys. I could talk comics for hours with them, and tonight's gonna be no different. If you get a chance, it's gonna be on Sleepy Reader 666's channel. If you haven't subscribed to that channel, you should be subscribed to that channel. He's an amazing reviewer. He does a comic book countdown every week. He counts down from the what he least liked to the thing that he liked the best. I love that format. He has a podcast that he does, and he's a superb reviewer. He does a lot of deep dives on stuff. His comic book bona fides go way back, and he definitely has the deep cut knowledge. He knows a lot of artists. He's really very articulate when it comes to artwork. And so if you haven't subscribed to his channel, go to Sleepy Reader 666. There'll be a link down in the description. Subscribe to the brother's channel. He's awesome. But anyway, tonight on his channel, we'll be having the roundtable discussion. It's going to be awesome. Tune into it. And if this happens to drop after that, it'll be up. Go check it out. And then the last thing is, as you know, I'm on the new Coffee and Comics show on Comics with Bueller. I get together with my good buddy Bueller every week, and we deep dive discussion on some of the best topics in the comic book industry right now. Last week we had an amazing discussion on, do you get books graded? And there were a lot of people who chimed in on it. There were a lot of people who passionately chimed in on it. And it was an awesome time. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It's still up. Bueller puts out a video every Wednesday that shows the new comic books that are releasing the following week. And on that video, he poses a question and asks you to leave a comment down in the comments. And then him and I use those comments to drive our conversation when we get together for the new Coffee and Comics show on Mondays. It's an awesome time. I love being on that show with him. This week's question is, are the grading companies actually listening to the comic community? And if you were going to use one of the grading companies, which one would you use? We're curious about this. I think it's really an awesome topic. It's actually a threefold topic. We started with grading last week. This week we're talking about whether the grading companies listen to the comic community. And the question next week, I don't think we are revealing that yet, but definitely tune in for it. It's a great discussion, and definitely something that the comic community seems to really be enjoying. So thank you for tuning into that. There's the announcement, folks. Let's get into the show. If you've never been to my channel before, I have a grading system. I call it the Daredevil grading system. And as you know, Daredevil has 2 fighting sticks. So if I like a book, I'll give it 2 sticks up, and you'll see a graphic up on the screen that'll show that. And if I'm kind of on the fence about a book, liked it, maybe there were some things I didn't like about it, I may give it a stick up and a stick down. And if I just didn't like the book, or if it didn't grab me, which is kind of rare, but it does happen, I'll give it 2 sticks down. So when you see the graphics up on the screen when I do my reviews, that's what that's about. And the other thing is that just be careful. One of the things I do inside of this show is that comic books came out on Wednesday. We're on Saturday now, and pretty much this drops on Saturday night most of the time. So I'm a little more spoilery with my reviews. I don't go fully in depth, but I do definitely drop a lot of spoilers. So if that's something that you want to go read your books and then come back and watch the video, this would be a good time to do it, because I'm going to deep dive on some of these things. Here we go, folks. Let's get into our books. So my first book is Nightwing number 70 by DC Comics. This is, of course, written by the great Dan Jurgens and art by Ryan Benjamin. Now, I haven't been on Nightwing for a while, and it was kind of cool to return to this. Dick Grayson is one of my favorite DC characters of all time. I think he's probably one of the more important characters to the DC universe. And but I haven't been on the book for a while. I hopped off of it because I didn't like where it was going. I probably should have hopped back on when Dan Jurgens was writing on it, but I just haven't been on it for a while. There was a lot of hype about this book this week because I think people thought that Punchline was going to be in it. There's no appearance by Punchline inside of this, but it does have the prelude to what we're going into, which is the Joker War. So this book, basically we find Dick Grayson, and he's got some problems because he just came off of being mind controlled, or maybe, I don't know if that's the word for it. He basically has a whole other history of being trained to be an assassin, to basically be a Talon for the Court of Owls. And he was trained by William Cobb, the Talon, and so he's got a memory, a whole history of that, just as much as he has a history of Bruce Wayne fathering him and training him to be Robin. And so he's kind of in this place where he's traumatized by the fact that he has both memories, and he's trying to grasp a hold of what is reality and what is not. He knows what's right, but the other piece of it is so strong, it really is messing him up. And he's going out there and fighting crime. But while this is all going on in the background, we find the Joker's looking for him. It doesn't really say why he's looking for him. Whatever plan the Joker's trying to hatch, you know it's going to be diabolical. But bottom line is, I guess when he was going to this mind control thing, one of the doctors that was treating him had a mind crystal. And that was part of how she got into his mind and kind of helped the Talons, or the Court of Owls, get to him. And he still has this crystal. And by the end of the book, Joker doesn't find him, but the Joker finds that crystal, and bam, I think that's where we're going next with this. Joker may have the ability to control Robin. I don't know. Check out next issue, though. Nightwing number 70. It was a good read. I give this one 2 sticks up. There you go. And so for my next book, this one is The Resistance, and this is by a new comic company called AWA Upshot. Kind of cool. They debuted 4 separate books this week. I was only able to get one of them because I kind of came into it late in the game and ordered them late. The other one I'm really hoping to get is Archangel 8. Hopefully I'll get that this week. But anyway, this first book, The Resistance, written by J. Michael Straczynski. Love his stuff. And then one of my favorite artists, Mike Deodato. And this book is about a global pandemic, which is really aggressive and can't be stopped. And I gotta tell you, it was written really well, especially where we're at in the current climate, really chilling. They showed different parts of the country, even Portland, Oregon, which was really cool, trying to fight this thing and seeing the aftermath of just how devastating it is, how fast it's killing people, and the gravitas of just that it can't be stopped. And so what we find out eventually is that the virus is alien in form, so it's not something that was born here on Earth. It's definitely alien, and there are some people who are resistant to the virus, and we find out that it's basically the virus is whittling the population down to 5%, and that 5% seem to have powers. That's where I think we're going with this. It was a great first read, very solid first read. But it was all plot, pretty much all plot, so no character development or anything like that. There's tiny smatterings of a couple characters, but not enough to say, to grab a hold of and know. Anyway, good read. Definitely give this one 2 sticks up. If you haven't heard about these books yet, I think definitely check them out. I've been hearing a lot of good things about the other ones, but this one here was really good. So for my next book, I have The Plunge by DC Black Label Comics. Of course, this is written by Joe Hill. Been loving his stuff and loving the Black Label stuff, and I've definitely been digging the Hill House comic book line. All the horror books that are coming out, really well done. The first issue of this I really loved. It was mostly dialogue. It was great setup. There's a ghost ship that basically is a ship that's been missing for like 15 years. It starts living all of a sudden a weak signal, and they send a crew to go investigate it. And the crew, once they get to the ship, before they start investigating, they get off the party, and this girl finds a dead body who speaks to her. And that kind of sets you up for this book. And that's where we start off. Now they're all standing around this body. She's trying to tell everybody it spoke to her. Nobody's really believing her. And so they kind of split the party up. A few of the crew is going to take that body back to the boat, and because they need to send that probe down to go investigate the wreckage of the ghost ship. And then the rest of the crew is going to stay on the island and look for possibly, did this guy have any other survivors or other people who died on the island? How did they get stranded there? Where did this guy come from? And so they're going to investigate that. And so we have kind of 2 different storylines going on, and that's where it starts going off the rails with awesome stuff. So first of all, that body, it's not dead. It's in the bag. It's coming to life. Second of all, when they send the probe down to that ship, some creature comes out of the woodworks. Awesome looking, and that kind of starts a whole thing going on over there. Then on the island, they start investigating it, and one of the ladies finds a totem under the water that kind of has little carvings of that creature that we saw at the ghost ship. And then we find out by the end of the book that it's not just one undead guy. There's a bunch of undead people on this island. I don't know how this is going to work, but bottom line is all hell breaks loose, and now we're set up for book 3. Can't wait to see what that book entitles. I'm really enjoying this. I'm thinking, for me, this is my favorite of the Hill House books. Really enjoying it. It's reading like a movie. Can't wait to see where they go with it next. Definitely give it 2 sticks up. Okay, now my next book. We got Batman number 91 by DC Comics. A lot of DC this week, folks. And of course, this one's written by, again, James Tynion. And the artwork inside of this is done, again, by that trio. I know a couple of issues ago we had 3 different artists on it. And we had Albuquerque Jimenez, and I can't think of the guy's name, Paguloya. I think that's how you say it. I'll butcher it every time. But again, this book doesn't suffer from having three different artists on it. I think it's really well done. And so this is part 6 of their Dark Designs. And so this story is basically separated into 3 parts. And the first part has Joker in a bar, and he's kind of recapping what happened in that kind of creepy house where the villains all met up with the designer on how the story began years ago. And the Joker retells what happened at that house in the way he sees it. Chilling, great Joker dialogue. I love the way Tynion wrote that. And you kind of get a glimpse into each one of the characters and what their desires were as they gave their designs to the designer. And anyway, that doesn't end there, because there is a little tiny bit of punchline in this, because the Joker makes a phone call, and you can definitely tell it's to her. And so she may not be in the book, but there's a little voice bubble, and she's there. So I don't know, you can't call that appearance, but it's there, folks. And then the other part of the book is basically you got Batman and Deathstroke. They go up against each other. Batman tries to convince Deathstroke to help him save the city. Of course, Deathstroke tells him no. And then when they're about to go at it again, the designer basically says, Deathstroke, your job is over with. And then he sends a bunch of henchmen after both of them. And so that's kind of where we end with Batman and Deathstroke, as they're fighting off the henchmen of the designer, which to me look like zombies. They got this green glowing stuff coming out of their mouths. They haven't really explained that yet. At least I don't think so. I don't remember them explaining that. But there's that part of the story. And then there's another part where we have Catwoman and Harley Quinn. And of course, Catwoman, she wants to go take all the money that she said that she was going to take. And the designer has all kinds of hijinks in store for them. A lot of great action. Dialogue is really well. You know, the thing I've been trying to put my finger on as to why I'm enjoying this so much. And I think what Tynion has done is create a story where there's so many different elements to it, but he's really crafted it well so that it keeps going and keeps you on the edge of your seat as you're going along. And I'm having so much fun. There's no lulls, and I really, really love the way he's crafting the story all the way through this 6th issue of the story. So if you haven't been on this, definitely pick it up. I know it's harder to pick up because of all the hype for Punchline. Definitely 2nd and 3rd printings are out there, or 2nd printings out there. And I know 3rd printings are coming, but if you borrow it from a friend, whatever you have to do, it's a great story, as well as, you know, having some spec and key value. Anyway, 2 sticks up. Definitely check this out. Okay, now before I get into my pick of the week, I'm going to go with 3 booms. Boom, boom, boom. All right, because Boom Studios has been killing it, and I could have made any one of these books my pick of the week. I mean, I'm talking truthfully. And so this was very hard for me to make an actual pick of the week this week. So I'm just going to go over the 3 booms. And these are all 3 books coming out of Boom Studios. All of them are good. There's no hierarchy here, like one is better than the other. I think they're all great. So the first one is Something is Killing the Children. Oh man, book number 6. It's back, folks, and I just love it. Of course, this one is written by James Tynion. The art is done by Werther Dell'Edera. The colorist is Miguel Muerto. Colors are amazing in this. And it basically starts in the aftermath of the last book. It's hard for me to talk about this book without spoiling everything, so I'm not going to really get too in depth with it. I will say that the main character that has been through all the books, that seems to have ability to. Anyway, I'm not even going to say anything about that. We find out more about her and where she came from, and possibly the society that she belongs to. I think it's called the House of Slaughter. Anyway, it's a lot of fun, very nuanced. It keeps you guessing. It surprises you. I agree with Robbie on this. You know, it's just so very well done. Robbie from Pop Culture Philosophers, loved your reviews this week, brother, and I fully agree with you on this one. But anyway, give this one 2 sticks up. If you haven't been reading this yet, I think the first 5 issues are going to be coming out in a trade paperback, so you can pick that up soon. Pick this one up off the shelves this week if you haven't read them before. Pick up the trade paperback, collect these going forward, get caught up with the story, because you don't want to miss this one. 2 sticks up. Okay, so for my next book, we have another one, like I said, from Boom Studios, and this one is Alienated, number 2. Man, the first book was good, but I love it when the second book is better. You know you've got something really special on your hands. This is a really good book. And so last issue, before I get into that, this was written by Simon Spurrier, art by Chris Wildgoose, and the colors by Andre May. Again, I don't know who Boom Studio is getting for these colorists, but it's good stuff. In the last book, we had these 3 kids, 3 Sams, and they were going to school. They came across this kind of alien thing hanging up in a tree, and it affected them. And they basically found that they are now telepathically linked, and they can hear each other's thoughts. And they use the vehicle in the book of using different colored fonts, so you know which person is talking. Genius. And the first book was really good. It ended with the bully of the school chasing them. They get to the place where this alien life form is at, and that thing eats him, so he's gone. We start off in this book with one of the characters, basically his dreams are being influenced by that creature, and he has the creature as a pet. He basically takes him in his backpack, has him in his room, And we start to find out that these kids are not just linked telepathically, but it may seem that they have more powers than that based on the alien influence. And so we get into that, and we start to find out just how connected they are, but also at the same time how they're trying to put in place, what do they call it? I forget what they call it. Privacy settings. In other words, I mean, you're in my thoughts all the time, but I got to figure out a way to keep you out. And so they're starting to develop strength in how to protect their own thoughts from the others who can basically read them. There are so many great things that happen in this book. Bottom line is the alien is definitely giving them some type of power. The alien also grows every time it eats. And so this thing is becoming bigger. I have a feeling we're going to get to a place where they won't be able to handle the alien. We'll see what happens. Definitely a great read. The artwork was great. The colors were great. And the writing is top-notch. And I definitely loved it more than the first issue. I had to give this one 2 sticks up. So my next book is Red Mother by Boom Studios. Man, this is an amazing book. Another one by Boom Studios. They are killing it. This is issue number 4, and I think this is my favorite issue besides issue number 1. I know some people said it slowed down. I don't think so. I think this was an awesome issue. But let's get into it. So this was written by Jeremy Hahn, art by Danny Luckert. Now last issue we had our main character, and she was given this heart-shaped box that was a puzzle. And most of the issue was taken on solving the puzzle of this box. And when she gets to the end of it, it basically has the contact information for the guy who gave her the puzzle. And so that's basically what's happening inside of this book. She meets up with that guy. He's kind of weird. They have this back and forth conversation. You don't really know what he's there for, what he wants from her, other than the fact that she likes puzzles. Of course, that's not it. He gives her another box before she leaves, which is another puzzle. And then all the while, there's this old lady, a creepy old lady that keeps showing back up. It's not the Red Mother, but she definitely is a part of this thing. And she shows up at the most inopportune times, and it's really creepy. Then we get the scene where she goes to her shrink, because she's been going through a lot of trauma since losing her boyfriend, losing her eye, and all of the sightings of the Red Mother that keep coming to her in visions. And so she goes to her shrink to kind of get, you know, some help. And so the shrink kind of gives her a couple of different ideas, but you get the feeling by the end of the conversation that this therapist, this shrink, is in on what's going on to her. As she leaves the building, there's this little peek outside the door watching her, and then the window of the shrink's office has a red glow afterwards. And so she's definitely part of this thing. Anyway, in the end, she goes home, she's trying to figure out the box, and then she ends up leaving her house and going to the place where her boyfriend disappeared, and she wants to figure out what's going on there. And that old lady and a bunch of other people show up, and this is where everything's going to break loose. That kind of where it stops us. We see a glimpse of the Red Mother, and I think next issue we're going to find out what the whole mystery's been about, what this whole slow burn is leading up to, and I can't wait to get to it. There's a lot of different theories on what's going on. I don't even want to speculate at this point. I just can't wait to read the conclusion, because I know it's going to be a good story. I do hope that they go further with this, because it's just been, even though it's been slow, it's been a lot of fun. Definitely give this one 2 sticks up. Check it out, folks. Okay, so now we get to my pick of the week. And I got to tell you, you know, there were so many good comics that I read this week. It was very hard to pick one. And so I just went with the one that I had the most fun reading. And that one is none other than DC Unkillables issue number 2. This was a lot of fun to read. There are so many different things that happen inside of this book. I mean, a lot. It's dense. Of course, the issue is written by Tom Taylor. You know, I just absolutely love his stuff. And the artist, Mostert, I didn't write his name down, but Mostert. Artwork is not something that normally I like. I don't like his style. His action is really well done. I think he has some fluidity to it, but the faces are all kind of the same. Kind of reminds me of an underground title that I used to read back in the day. But it does work for what we're doing here, and it didn't bother me that much, so I'm not going to ding it for the artwork. It's just not my cup of tea. But here's the deal. Last issue, we found out that in the wake of all of our favorite heroes turning into zombies, that there was more to the story. And so it doesn't take place in a whole new storyline. It kind of takes place during the original deceased storyline. And so basically what ends up happening is you have Commissioner Gordon and the Red Hood, Jason Todd, and Batwoman end up in a school where they're basically held up there, and there's a bunch of kids. And then we have a bunch of villains who are out in an underground cave out in the ocean. And those are the ones that they're calling the Unkillables. And basically it's like Deathstroke and, let's see, we got Deathstroke, Mirror Master, Vandal Savage, Shiva is there, Solomon Grundy, Captain Cold. There's a bunch of villains there, and it seems like some of them can't be killed. We know Vandal Savage is immortal. We know that Deathstroke has a healing factor. All of them have these different things which keep them from being killed. Captain Cold has the Cold Ray, which kind of can block people from coming after him. You got Mirror Master, who can escape through mirrors. And so they all have these different things that'll keep them from getting killed. And so basically, like I said, there's so much that happens inside of this book. Mirror Master basically takes Shiva, who's the mother of Batwoman, Cassandra Cain, takes her over to the school so that she can try to convince her to come with her. Cassandra Cain won't do it, and so they basically are going to leave. And there's a gem that happens right there. I'll tell you about it later. But basically, bottom line is Mirror Master takes them back. When they get back there, Wonder Woman shows up. Now, I guess it's the anti-life equation that created the zombies, and the anti-life equation can sense life. And so while she's roaming the earth trying to find life, she sensed them on the island, and boom, she goes in there. There's an amazing scene where she rips Vandal Savage in half, and she starts tearing into these guys. So just great action. We have Mirror Master, who gets some of the villains, takes them off the island. He goes back to get Captain Cold. Captain Cold, of course, is not there. And then we see Mirror Master get taken out. And that's kind of where they left the story. And all the rest of it is basically back at the school. And you have this time where the villains and Commissioner Gordon and Batwoman and the Red Hood, they all kind of get together, live together, and the kids that are there, they basically start training them, teaching them, living together, and you kind of see this like normal slice of life with all these people who normally wouldn't meld together. I mean, you see kids patting Cheetah on the head. I mean, it was fun. Anyway, at some point, Mirror Master, zombieized, comes through one of the mirrors, all hell breaks loose. I'll kind of leave it there. There were so many fun elements of this book. The action was great, the dialogue was great, there was some humor, there's definitely some pain points. It was just really well written, a lot of fun. I love Tom Taylor's writing. There's the gem that I was talking about earlier. Any of you remember the movie Snatch? You had Brad Pitt, who was a bare knuckles boxing champion. Well, there's a scene where he goes into a boxing match he's supposed to throw. Somebody throws an uppercut on him, and he gets like completely vertical as he's flying back through the air. There's a scene inside of here where Shiva throws this kick right into Jason Todd's face and just smacks him, and his body does that same thing. It was glorious. I always forget how much I don't like Jason Todd until I get into reading. I like the concept of the Red Hood, but I've never been a Jason Todd fan. I was so mad when they made his death mean nothing. But anyway, that scene right there, I just laughed so hard because he's vertical, blood flying off his face, and she just kicked him dead to rights. It was glorious. Anyway, if you're not reading this book, definitely should be. It was a lot of fun. Deceased, Unkillables, number 2, 2 sticks, way high, Bullseye Bob's pick of the week. So there you have it, folks. There's my reviews for the week. I did read a lot more books. There were so many more, but I can only pick a few to review on the channel. And this is kind of a longer video, so I'm not going to be doing mini reviews, but I mean, there was there was Bang #2, the giant size Robin was there this week. The Hell Arisen, that was a great read. That was there as well. There was a new book called Artemis and the Assassin. Kind of a cool concept, but anyway, there was a lot of good stuff to read this week, and so I probably have another 10 to 13 books that didn't even make it into the reviews. Anyway, definitely be reading your comics, folks. A lot of great stuff coming out right now. Get it while it's hot, and that's all I got to say. And so I always show you guys something that is not on my pull list, and this week I got something pretty special. There's a guy who watches this show, and he also watches Comics with Bueller on our new Coffee and Comic show. His name is Logan Lunkins. He's left a few comments on my videos. I follow him on Instagram as well. And he did some artwork for all three of us. He did a piece for Bueller, he did a piece for Sam, and he did a piece for me. And this is the piece that he did for me, and this thing is amazing. Check this out. He's got, I mean, I love the way he wrote Bullseye Bob. He's got the Daredevil in there. You know I love the Daredevil. But if you check out the Kingpin, he's got my goatee, and he's got the bullseye symbol on the coffee cup. And so, I mean, check that thing out. Logan, thank you so much. That is a great pick. I love getting fan art. This is by far one of the biggest blessings I've received in the same week. I got this amazing AOK from Two Gun Pedro, and then this came. He sent it to Bueller, and so Logan, thank you so much. I love it, man. Love it. So that's what I brought. That's not on my pull list, and so then here's the question of the week. And I do have to apologize. You know, I've been accumulating questions so that I can use them in this segment, because I only ask one question at a time. And the paper that I wrote the question down on, the name of the person who left the question, it got upset. I think I put a drink on it or something, and it's obscure. I can't even read it. And I tried to go back through my videos to find who had left this particular comment, and I can't find who left it. I think it was the Comics Club who did it. By the way, Comics Club, if you haven't gone to his site, go definitely check it out. He's got some amazing stuff there. He's a great dude. Very sad I'm not going to be able to meet him at SummerCon, because I was going to go there and try to get some time in, because he just lives near there. I think it was like a couple hours away, but we were going to make a way to be able to. Anyway, I'm not going to be able to meet him. Definitely check out his channel. But I think he's the one that left the comment, but the question. But the question was, do I watch anything animated? And the question is yes, I do. Not as much as I used to, but I definitely like some of the animated stuff. Now, there was a period where I kind of stopped watching animated stuff because it just got too campy. I couldn't get into it, and but I'll tell you some of the things that I do like. The one that's probably one of my all-time favorites is Batman the Animated Series. Paul Dini, the way he wrote those episodes. Of course, that's where we got Harley Quinn from. That's where we got, Mr. Freeze being the character that he is now. That episode, Heart of Ice. If you've never watched Batman the Animated Series, go watch Heart of Ice and just watch that episode and watch everything that unfolds for the character Mr. Freeze. That character was never a compelling character until that episode, and it was like so well done. It won like 1,000 awards, and it really showed me what could be done through the animated medium. So like I said, if you haven't checked that one out, definitely do. But Batman the Animated Series was amazing. And then of course, I loved the X-Men animated series that came out in the 90s. I still have that theme song on my phone. As a matter of fact, a couple of people who call me, that's their ringtone. But that was very well done. I was very sad when they ended that. But I mean, for an X-Men show, it was, you couldn't have got much better than that, I think, especially for the time. I really wish they would come back out with another X-Men animated show, or maybe upgrade it to our current time. But that one's a definite good one. Then you know, I used to watch Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends because they brought all kinds of characters on that show that you normally didn't get to see in an animated show. I actually got an episode with Daredevil in it, which was amazing. So I definitely watched those. And then here lately, there's not a lot of stuff that I've been into, but I've been starting to dive back into it, and I'll tell you why. So in the last few years, there's been a couple of animated movies that I really liked. And by the way, Warner Brothers and DC, they kill it on the animated stuff. Marvel, not so much. I've never understood that. I don't know if they just don't put the money into it, or I don't know, but DC kills it with their animated stuff. Gotham by Gaslight was an amazing movie. I love that comic book. I love the way they did the animated movie. Then there was the Batman Ninja movie. That was kind of weird, kind of an anime click on Batman, but I really dug just the visuals on that. I thought the story, it got kind of weird when they got into all the big houses, kind of, you know, being up like huge transformers, but that was neither here nor there. The rest of the stuff with the Joker was amazing, and to see like kind of a semi-Japanese take on the Batman mythos was great. I loved it. Yeah, so some of the, you know, the Warner Brothers animated movies, and then here lately, I've been going back to shows that I never got to watch before, and I've been slowly diving into them, like Green Lantern, the animated series. Man, that is amazing. Brave and the Bold. Haven't gotten too far into that, but definitely I'm liking that. Teen Titans. Now, I do like the Teen Titans show, not the Teen Titans Go stuff as much. It's a little too campy for me. But the original animated Teen Titans series, that one's pretty good. Of course, I've always loved Batman Beyond. I thought that's a great concept. I wish they would do a modern day live action Batman Beyond. But what got me into starting to get back into animation again was when they did the movie Into the Spider-Verse. That movie is amazing. I still watch it over and over again. I will say this, in 2018, that movie almost, I could say, was the movie of the year, up against Infinity War. It was just as good. Love that movie. And that kind of showed me what they could do with animation. It sparked my interest again, and so I've kind of been dabbling in some of this animation stuff. Anyway, what do you guys like? Leave a comment. Let me know what type of animation you like. The other thing is, I'm running out of questions. Guys, leave a question down in the comments. I love interacting with you. Ask anything. Ask about my personal life. Ask about comic book questions, what I think about certain things. It's just a way for us to be able to interact with each other, and I really enjoy having this segment of the show. So there you have it, folks. There's my show. Really appreciate you tuning in. Of course, again, you know, we're coming up on 1,000 subscribers pretty soon. I think as of this show, I'm about 830 subscribers in, which is just amazing. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, for tuning into the show. And stay tuned, folks. We have a lot of stuff going forward. Make sure you tune in this Thursday. We'll have the weekly rundown. Bueller and I will probably do it remotely. I don't know. I haven't talked to him about it yet, but it'll definitely be there. A lot of great pop culture news coming out this week. And I got some other stuff in store as well. And but I'm really enjoying this. Anyway, folks, appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And remember, always support your local comic shop. And as always, folks, Excelsior.
Rearrange your face if you continue to debate whether Logan's claws could pierce Steve Rogers'